Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we take a whole stack of sources, history, art, travel guides, and boil them all down into what you really need to know.
And today, we are going to Toledo, Spain. It's about, 70 or 80 kilometers south of Madrid?
Right, but this isn't just a geographical trip. We're going deep into intellectual history, to the ancient heart of Spain.
Exactly. This is a UNESCO World Heritage City, sure, but that almost undersells it. Toledo's real importance is what it was in the Middle Ages.
The city of three cultures.
The city of three cultures, Christian, Muslim, and Jewish. And our whole mission today is to unpack how that unique, really intense coexistence didn't just happen, but how it fundamentally changed Europe forever.
And we've got it all. We have the deep history on the School of Translators, the biography of El Greco, and even some really useful tips from Reddit forums on how to experience this city today.
So let's just jump right in, because we have to start with the single biggest thing.
Yeah.
The Toledo School of Translators. For centuries, this city was the intellectual engine of the Middle Ages, full stop.
The engine. So what does that actually mean?
It means that during the 12th and 13th centuries, a group of scholars there did something, world-changing. They basically bridged the massive intellectual gap between the Islamic world and the Christian West.
A gap where all the classic knowledge, Aristotle, for instance, had been lost in the West after Rome fell?
Lost or just forgotten. Meanwhile, the Islamic Golden Age was thriving. They had translated and studied all of it. So the first phase, back in the 12th century, was driven by Archbishop Raymond of Toledo. His goal was simple: get that knowledge back.
Translate it from Arabic into Latin.
Right. They were desperate for the big names, Ptolemy on astronomy, Galen on medicine, stuff that was totally inaccessible in Europe at the time.
That sounds difficult. I mean, the logistics of translating complex science from Arabic to Latin must have been a nightmare.
It was a huge collaborative effort. You get these amazing figures like Gerard of Cremona. He travels all the way from Italy in 1167 because he's hunting for one specific book.
There's one.
Ptolemy's Almagest, the foundational text on astronomy. He gets to Toledo. He doesn't even speak Arabic, so he has to work with local scholars, Mozarabs, who were Arabic-speaking Christians, and Jewish scholars.
Wow.
And through them, he ends up translating over 87 books on Arabic science.
87. So he essentially just uploaded the Islamic world's library into the Latin West.
He really did. And it wasn't just theory. It was Euclid's Geometry, Avicenna's Canon of Medicine, which became the standard medical text in Europe for 500 years. It was the practical know-how.
Okay, that's huge. But then comes phase 2 in the 13th century with King Alfonso X, the Wise.
And this is where it gets really interesting because the mission changes. Alfonso says the translations need to be llanos and entendido.
Easy to understand.
Easy to understand. And critically, the target language shifts from Latin to Old Spanish Castilian. He's not just doing it for priests anymore. He's building a nation. He wants this knowledge to reach bureaucrats, merchants, a wider class of people.
And he's standardizing the Spanish language while he's at it.
Absolutely. And this is where Jewish scholars became indispensable. They knew Arabic, they knew Castilian, they knew Hebrew. They were the perfect bridge. A guy like Yehuda ben Moshe Cohen, the king's own doctor, was translating major scientific works and helping create the famous Alphonsine tables.
Yeah, Alphonsine tables. That's a name that keeps coming up.
It connects everything. All this work turned Toledo into an intellectual magnet, and the knowledge they translated, especially Aristotle, laid the groundwork for giants like Thomas Aquinas. But the tables, they were the most accurate star charts in Europe for centuries.
So accurate.
So accurate that Nicholas Copernicus used them to help validate his proofs for a sun-centered universe. The raw data for the scientific revolution came, in large part, from Toledo.
Wait, so you're saying without the multi-faith collaboration in Toledo, the Renaissance and the scientific revolution might have been stunted? Or just not happened?
That's the historical consensus. Toledo was the hinge. It connected the ancient world, the Islamic Golden Age, and the new European Renaissance.
That's staggering. But it wasn't just an intellectual thing, right? You can actually see this history in the buildings.
You can't miss it. You walk through the old quarter and there's a huge Gothic cathedral, then a tiny 10th century mosque, and two incredible synagogues, all practically next to each other.
And those synagogues, Santa Maria la Blanca and El Tránsito,
Yeah.
they're prime examples of this architectural fusion, right?
They're perfect examples of Mudahar art, which is basically Islamic design and construction techniques used by Christian and Jewish patrons.
So Muslim craftsmanship in a Jewish house of worship.
Precisely. Santa Maria la Blanca has these gorgeous horseshoe arches, pure Moorish influence inside a 12th century synagogue. It's a testament to that era.
And all of this intense history, this blending, sets the stage for the city's most famous resident.
El Greco, Domenicos Theotokopalos. He moves to Toledo in 1577 and just explodes creatively.
His style is so unique, the elongated figures, the dramatic colors, it feels almost disconnected from reality.
Well, his goal wasn't reality. It was a kind of spiritual truth. He was trying to get a powerful, almost overwhelming spiritual emotion across to the viewer.
And Toledo was the perfect place for that, this deeply spiritual city with layers of faith.
It fueled his radical vision. There's that great story about his altarpiece for the Immaculate Conception.
Right.
He actually asked for the canvas to be made 1.5 feet taller. Why? His reason was, in this way, the form will be perfect. He was literally stretching reality to fit his artistic vision.
A vision so ahead of its time that people didn't get it for centuries.
Exactly. His innovation, the way he twisted form and space, it would pop up again 300 years later in the work of Cézanne and Picasso.
So from ancient science to modern art, let's bring it to today. What's it like for a traveler walking those same streets now?
First off, it's super easy to get to. Just a 30-minute high-speed train from Madrid.
And the number one tip seems to be, wear comfortable shoes.
Oh, absolutely. It's compact, but very hilly, a real maze. But the most unique thing is how the city adapts to the summer heat.
The whole schedule shifts, right?
Totally. In July or August, the city just shuts down in the afternoon. Then around 6 or 7 in the evening, everyone comes back out, and life goes on until 2 in the morning. The city at night is just gorgeous.
So the real magic hour is midnight.
It really is. The nighttime tours are fantastic. They mix history with local legends and a bit of mysticism.
And if you're planning for 2026, there are 2 huge festivals to aim for.
Holy Week, or Semana Santa, which should be around mid-April. Very solemn, beautiful processions. And then there's Corpus Christi in June.
That's the one where they decorate the entire city.
The entire procession route. Streets are covered in tapestries, flowers, awnings. It's an incredible sight.
Okay, and we have to talk about food. This blend of cultures must show up on the plate.
It absolutely does. You get these hearty stews, a holdover from its Castilian hunting days, like perdiz a la toledana, which is partridge stewed in wine.
But what's the one dish you have to try?
You have to get carcamusas. It's a pork and tomato stew, and it was famously invented at a place called Bar Ludenia. It's a true local classic.
And for dessert?
It has to be marzipan. The tradition goes back to the Middle Ages, supposedly started by the nuns at the San Clemente convent.
And you can still buy it from them directly, can't you?
You can. Through a little rotating wooden shelf called a torno. You put your money in, they spin it, and out comes the marzipan. You never even see them.
What an incredible journey. From being the intellectual bridge for all of Europe to inspiring the future of art and, still serving up amazing stews late at night.
That's Toledo. It's proof that this incredible development of knowledge and culture happened because of coexistence. It gave us the data for modern science and the vision for modern art.
So here's the thought we want to leave you, the learner, with. We've seen how this intense cultural convergence in Toledo sparks a scientific revolution for Copernicus and an artistic revolution in El Greco. If that unique mix of energies could produce such radical, future-forward leaps in both science and art centuries ago, what kind of creativity might that same city be fostering today? When traditions truly meet, what happens next?